Hello! Today we're going to have a little look-see at the natural ecosphere and the planted ecosphere, both 3 years old and almost a quarter. This very video is also the 100th Life in Jars video, more on that later. For a detailed overview of what happened the first 2 years, I suggest watching the 1 and 2 year update videos on these ecospheres. But here's a brief recap. On December 10th, 2017, I made the natural ecosphere. This is what it looked like back then. This is the same ecosystem a year later, and this is the 2-year-old ecosphere. On the 19th of December 2017, I made the planted ecosphere from the same pond. Here's what it looked like back then, after a year, and after 2 years. Today it's today. And here's the now over 3 years old natural ecosphere. The first thing you'll notice is just how much the thread algae has grown. It's looking very green and bushy and healthy and just great overall. As you might know by now, the amount of thread algae and also the amount of algae on the glass constantly changes. Right now the glass is very clear, and this is the highest amount of thread algae there has ever been in this ecosystem so far. And of course, a higher amount of algae can support a higher amount of animal life. It also looks very pretty. Well, you know, that's just like my opinion, man. The ostracods have been one of the most abundant type of animals in this ecosphere from the very beginning. I just love these little crustacean balls. They never failed to put a smile on my face. In my experience, ostracods, also known as sea shrimp, are one of the hardiest species you can have in a closed aquatic ecosystem, which is why you've seen this species before in many Life in Jars videos. One might think that there's nothing left to say about these animals after all these on-screen appearances. Well, that's not true. Did you know that ostracods have 2 reproductive organs each? Male ostracods have 2 penises and female ostracods have 2 gonopores. Maybe even more interesting is the fact that sea shrimp have very long sperm cells. In some species, the uncoiled sperm can be up to 6 times as long as the body of the male it came out of. As far as I know, that's not why they're called sea shrimp though. Anyway, that's a fun little fact for ya. This is a different kind of ostracod. There's also quite a few of these in this ecosphere. I think, although I am not sure, that these might be the same ostracods we saw earlier in this ecosystem, only bigger, which I previously called clam shrimp. I thought clam shrimp was just another name for ostracods, and I refer to the smaller ostracods as sea shrimp and the larger ostracods as clam shrimp. However, it turns out that clam shrimp are actually from a completely different class of crustaceans. So to avoid confusion, I won't call them clam shrimp anymore. For the first time in, well, 3 years, the leaf in the middle of the jar is really starting to decay. I hope you can see all the holes that are starting to appear in the leaf. The leaf stalk is getting really thin and is slowly starting to disappear. This is currently the largest bladder snail, Visa fontinalis, in this jar. All the other snails are a little smaller. There are more bladder snails in this ecosphere than ever before, and that might have something to do with the large amount of algae I talked about earlier. I also couldn't resist taking a quick look at this ecosphere through the microscope. When I took a look at the top layer of the soil, I noticed that a considerable amount of that soil consists of dead ostracods and the molds of living or dead ostracods. And that's just, well, it's something. I was also hoping to get a better look at the large amount of infusoria we saw on the glass in previous updates, but there doesn't seem to be much of it, unfortunately. I did notice some white stuff growing on the algae and on the leaf near the bottom of the jar, but I don't really know what it is. So that's how the natural ecosphere is doing after all this time. Now let's take a look at the planted ecosphere, which is 9 whole days younger. Although if you look at it nowadays, it doesn't look that planted anymore. But that thing in the background that looks like a palm tree on a sunny evening, with an ostracod almost landing on it like a bird, is in fact a plant. It is one of the Vallisneria I planted in the jar over 3 years ago, and it is still very much alive, but it doesn't really look like your typical Vallisneria anymore. Here we have another little, very little Vallisneria growing, and right next to it a single leaf coming out of the ground, which also has to be a Vallisneria leaf. Here on this red rock, a nice green mat of either algae or cyanobacteria is growing, which the ostracods are happily grazing from. So let's take a closer look at this funny looking val. Usually Vallisneria grow very tall leaves from their roots. In this case, however, it appears that the leaves kept dying and new leaves were growing on top of the stumps of the dead leaves. The new leaves, or at least the current leaves, are very small. It also seems to have split in two. I have never seen a Vallisneria growing like this before, and I've seen a lot of Vallisneria grow, so this is very interesting. The conditions are clearly not ideal for the Vallisneria, but also not bad enough for the plants to die. So there's not a lot of plant life, and also not a lot of algae in this closed ecosystem. Of course, in a closed ecosystem, little plant life means little animal life. In this ecosphere we can find both types of ostracods we also found in the natural ecosphere. So for the past 3 years, these 2 jars contain 2 closed, self-sufficient ecosystems. The plants and algae have been providing oxygen for the animals and bacteria, and the animals and bacteria have been providing carbon dioxide for the plants and algae. The plants and algae have been providing the animals with a source of food. The bacteria have been living off of dead plants, algae and animals, and have been consuming poop as well, which they all turned into nutrients which the plants and algae have been using to grow. I've talked before about how the biodiversity in homemade ecospheres usually goes down over long periods of time. That is also the case in these 2 ecosystems. We don't see hydra, copepods, tubifex and daphnia anymore, for instance. After the 2-year update on the ecosystem, many of you have been anxiously waiting to find out if the planaria did indeed remain present in the natural ecosphere. And the answer is yes. So, this is the 100th Life in Jars video. Here's some fun Life in Jars trivia for you. This is the first video I filmed entirely while laying on the floor, just because the light was so nice. It all started over 3 years ago with the first video about the natural ecosphere. Not even 2 months later, on the 4th of February 2018, the first 100 of you were subscribed. On June 16th, we reached 1,000 hours of watch time and you got the name Jarmy. On the 14th of August of the same year, you had multiplied by 10. And I made this ecosphere inside of another ecosphere, which I don't believe I ever did any updates on. Maybe I should sometime. On the 30th of September 2019, there were a whopping 100,000 Jarmy members. In the second Q&A, I promised that I will drink an ecosphere, because apparently that's something a lot of people want to see when Life in Jars reaches 300,000 subscribers. I certainly plan to keep my promise, however, I would like to add one condition. If there is botulism in the water during summer, I reserve the right to wait until there isn't anymore. I would also like to say, and I don't think I say this enough, that you guys are the best. I always enjoy reading all the comments you write. Most of them are very nice and funny, and you have always been very supportive. And I just want to thank all of you for being such a great community. One last thing. It turns out that a lot of you have issues with the notifications of new videos, which is why I decided to try and commit to a regular upload schedule, so you know when to expect a new video. My plan is to upload every other Sunday at 1 PM Eastern Standard Time. I will regularly update the channel banner so you can see when the next video will be posted. I think I can manage this schedule with my studies, but we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much it for this video. I would like to thank Elzen Gay and Whitney Noms 731, as well as the 88 other patrons for their generous support. If you would like to see more videos like these and you haven't already, well, you're going to have to subscribe. Thanks for watching.